How will Luffy defeat Kaido? When Luffy in Gear 4 did punch Big Mom was able to block it in her normal state while smiling. The difference in power is quite big. The Snake Man version of Gear 4 looks more powerful, but it will not be enough against a Yonko. In order for Luffy to be able to stand up to the Yonkos and hold his own, he needs a massive power upgrade that is different to the other power-ups, to the point that he is unrecognizable. I think Gear 5 will be called Giant Man. In this mode, Luffy will be around 10 meters tall. In other gears, Luffy increases one body part, like his arms or legs, or his upper part in Gear 4. But in this gear, I think he will make his whole body bigger. Basically, Gear 5 will be like a complete form of all the gears. Big Mom is 10 meters tall and Kaido is 12 meters tall. In this gear, Luffy will be able to hold its own against them. But being around the same size as them, it will not be enough. Because besides them being very tall, they are very strong. We have seen Luffy use armament haki with his gears to make his attacks stronger and to have a better defense, especially against sharp objects, which are his main weakness. In Gear 4, Luffy uses armament haki to cover parts of his upper body, but when he did use Gear 4 in Whole Cake Island, armament haki was different. It is covering the entire back, and also it looks to be stronger. It looks like a metal armor, rather than just covering his body with armament haki. His back looks completely different than it did look in Dressrosa. It is in the same shape as his arms. But in Gear 5, I expect this armament haki to be even in a higher level, otherwise it would be hard to withstand Kaido's attacks. Luffy has one advantage against them, and that is his Devil Fruit. Because his body is rubber, all physical attacks have less impact on Luffy. The rubber does absorb the power. But if the opponent uses armament haki, then both powers cancel each other. But since Luffy can use armament haki as well, this is how he can use his Devil Fruit power to his advantage. When Doflamingo did kick him using armament haki, he was surprised to see that armament haki is not negating his rubber Devil Fruit power. But if Doflamingo did have a stronger armament haki than Luffy's armament haki, then he would be able to hurt Luffy, because his Devil Fruit power would be negated. Big Mom and Kaido, they look like they are invincible. I think this is due to their advanced armament haki. We saw it with Shanks when he was on board Whitebeard's ship. People were getting affected by his King's Haki, even though Shanks was not targeting anyone there. But only because his King's Haki was activated, it was too much for some of the pirates there. When Whitebeard and Shanks did clash, they both were using their Hakis, and that's why the clouds were divided. I don't think Luffy has advanced armament haki yet, because as Rayleigh said, when it comes to the higher levels of haki, you cannot achieve those just by training, but by fighting in really intense battles where your life is on the line, and that's how you can surpass your limits. But I do think that Luffy has a higher level of armament haki than the standard one. You can see the difference between his armament haki in Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island. Armament haki will be very important in the fights against the Yonkos, because since these fights are expected to be very long, the thing that will make the difference is armament haki, whether it's about the attack or defense. Now Luffy's strongest attack so far is King Kong Gun. This is what he used to finish off Doflamingo. When Doflamingo was hit by this attack, he went down and hit the ground with such a force that the land split up and parts of the land flew in the air. But now the question is, what can this attack do against Kaido? The answer is, nothing. Kaido did jump from a sky island that is 10 kilometers high and he flew down like a bullet, but Kaido was not harmed at all. He only said my head hurts, nothing more. And he did get up and did crush the alliance of Kid Hawkins and Apu by himself. So this is why I think it is very important for Luffy to be a lot bigger in size, or otherwise his attacks will not have any effect. When Luffy did punch Big Mom in Gear 4 mode, she did block it like it was nothing. So Luffy needs a lot more weight for his punches to be more powerful. In the fighting sports, who fights who, it is decided by the weight of the fighters. The reason why the size is so important to Luffy is that he is in a disadvantage in other areas. If Luffy would have a stronger Devil Fruit like fire or ice, or he would use a sword or a gun, then things would be different. Let's just say that Luffy is as good with a sword as Mihawk, then the power gap will be smaller. But he has none of those, he fights with his bare hands, and that's why he is in such a disadvantage. But the way to close that gap I think is Gear 5 Giant Man with advanced armament haki. This is how Luffy can withstand their attacks because his defense would be a lot stronger, and his attacks would have more weight and be more powerful. I think the size is essential when fighting Big Mom and Kaido or people like them. But there are opponents that they can use your size against you, because you will be slower and an easy target. It is hard to miss when your target is big. so speed is very important as well. But if you don't have powerful attacks, then speed is useless, because there is no benefit of being able to land attacks on the opponent if those attacks are not causing any damage. So in order to defeat Big Mom and Kaido, Gear 5 Giant Man will be essential. But when Luffy will fight Blackbeard, then things will be different. I think in this fight, power or size, it will not be that important. The winner of this fight will be the one who will use his power in the most clever way. Blackbeard is not known to be a great physical fighter. Whitebeard took him down very easily, but he uses his power and everything that he has at his disposal in a very clever way. And now that he has the powers of two very powerful devil fruits, he is a force to be reckoned with. It will be a very interesting fight because Luffy and Blackbeard are different in almost everything. I will make a video about how Luffy can defeat Blackbeard. This video will be posted after a couple of videos that I have been working for a while now. Anyway, what do you guys think about this theory? Do you agree or disagree, or you have something else to add? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, like and share if you like this video, subscribe for more One Piece videos, and see you on the next video.